Well, Love 97, it's a midday cruising show that you tuned into. We got the best of the hits and oldies right here on this your favorite radio station. And I've got one of my favorite people in studio right now. And I always call him Dr. Jamal. Jamal Moncur. And I'm telling you, he's our favorite herbalist and man of information for this age right now. And I think information all of us need to hear, whether you accept it or not, or whether what you accept doesn't make it true. But what is real, and we know that it's been founded, and he's got backup information. He's studied this stuff, and we love to hear from Jamal Moncur of Newlife. Let your food be your medicine be your food.
Most definitely, Shelly.
Good morning.
Definitely.
How are you? And I see you brought your wonderful chef with you today too.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about the foods we eat, and we're going to be talking about some things that have been going on. You know, like we won't even say the saga continues. We're going to say that information continues.
Most definitely.
Because in this age of information now, they said, without a vision and information, you will perish.
Yes.
So, Doc, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Shelly, and good morning, my fellow Grammy-Hamians.
Mm-hmm.
And I greet you today with nothing but love. And today we want to talk about the chef here, Mr. Cooper is going to talk about some of the cost factor that goes into the food, some of the preparation, some of the love that goes into the food.
Right.
Because a lot of persons look at the food and say it's expensive or this and that. But we want to break it down today and let you know. And I think he's the best person to do that.
Right.
Me and him had a discussion this morning, and he was breaking some stuff down to me. And I said, man, people need to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
People really need to hear what you have to say.
That's
But before we even get into that, it's important to note, Shelly, that we just came off the Easter break.
Okay.
And a lot of persons don't know that in addition to consuming white flour, which in itself is deadly because white flour contains a lot of starch, and starch converts into sugar.
That's right.
But what happens is...
You need to tell me that twice.
Yeah, but see...
God, that's the biggest enemy.
But
It's bread, hot cross buns.
It's a double whammy, though,
Mm-hmm.
because of a chemical known as Alkaline. And Alkaline is a diabetes-inducing chemical found in white bread, but it's not deliberately put there. You see, it's actually, according to new research, Alkaline is a chemical given to rat to induce diabetes, to shut the pancreas down in mice. And so it's so toxic that it's confined to laboratory use only. It's not used in anything. But it's not deliberately added to white flour. Instead, it's a byproduct of the flour bleaching process in which the chlorine reacts with the protein in the flour. So the chlorine they use to bleach the flour, that reacts with the protein in the flour. And this chain reaction releases this chemical called alloxin. And this is what shut down the pancreas in humans. So if you are pre-diabetic, pre-Easter, and you indulge in hot cross buns made from white flour,
Right.
then that alloxin could literally make you a full-fledged diabetic patient. And that's why you see we have an epidemic of this proliferation. You see a proliferation of diabetes, mellitus, these non-communicable diseases, ravishing
The Bahamas.
not just the country, not just Nassau or the city where we have a lot of processed food, but now even the islands where our elders live, who live a more laid-back lifestyle, non-sedentary.
Island life or more.
They're also consuming white flour, and so they end up with diabetes. They're taking medication. So I think, Shelly, the nutshell, what I'm trying to say this morning is we need to give God more credit.
Mm-hmm.
We are not. And the reason why I said this is because God made our body. He is the author and the manufacturer of our body. And with the body, he gave us a manual in Genesis 1:29. He said the fruit should be for meat. He didn't say go to the morgue or to the butcher for meat. He said the fruit should be the meat and the leaves should be for medicine. And then he blessed us with the immune system. Even when you read Psalms 91, he said, I will give you length of days. 3 scores and 10. He said, I promise you 3 scores and 10. But the doctors told us that God break the promise. You see? He didn't break the promise. When we look, when we look at the obituary, we see people dying at age 40.
That's right.
50, 60, and we call that old age disease. And we say, well, what about the 3 scores and 10 that was promised? Oh, he break the promise. Because even though it stated in Psalm 103 that I will take away all of your disease, what God meant to say, this is what the doctor interprets, what God meant to say is I will take away all of your disease with the exception of diabetes mellitus, with the exception of cancer, with the exception of whatever. But when I read that scripture the last time, it didn't have no exception there.
No exception.
It just says simply point blank, all disease I will take away.
All
So we need to give God credit because he blessed the immune system, the body with the immune system, the excretory system.
able to fight off these
And
things.
this system is designed to, like you say, fight off any disease. That's why he said, see, when God wrote that, I will take away all of your disease, in the back of his head, he already know what he put in your body. He already
Built-in
know.
mechanism.
Yeah, he already know. I had the immune system there to fight disease. I have the excretory system to take the waste out. I have the digestive system to break stuff down, the respiratory system to give you the oxygen of life.
That's right.
All of these things is in place. But when we rebel, sometimes we rebel unconsciously.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why Mr. Gio is here to make sure. And then we have Minister Smith here capturing the testimonies, because what you saw yesterday,
Boy,
Mr. Smith captured, and we will have it. Minister
that-
Smith.
that was just something else.
Yes.
And I know we're going to talk about that.
We have to. It's
a
her
lot of
story.
people need to see the reality.
And they need to hear
of it.
people's story. I'm not bashing no one, Shelley.
No,
A lot of
it's-
people say, oh, you shouldn't bash the doctors.
Truth is truth.
I'm not bashing anybody because the doctors are just as frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
They a lot of them are doing well.
And like you say, frustrated, and in
Yes.
that they don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what else to do. And
Exactly.
when you have, like they said, you have done all that's been given to you in your medical manual to do, what you're supposed to do for people suffering from this, or that's it. And so next you start leaning
Yes.
to your own
Yes, exactly, exactly.
solutions.
Exactly.
What you think.
Exactly.
And sometimes that causes you
Yes.
to negate
Yes.
some of your basic medical training.
Exactly. And that's why you said
and how the
education.
cellular system works and what
Yes.
kills it and what keeps it alive.
Exactly.
So it's a very
Education,
serious
not
thing.
medication. See, we need to educate and stop being quick to medicate.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that to say this. Sometimes people come to us with severe sinus, and they say I had this sinus and asthma for years.
Mm-hmm.
Years, 15 years, almost all my life. People, I'm not telling you conjecture or rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here telling you what I see, what people tell me daily.
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody come to me and say, Mr. Moncur, all my life I have been suffering from sinus. I can't smell. For 8 years I couldn't smell. My olfactory function is depleted.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to them, do you consume dairy? Yes, I drink milk 3-4 times a day. I eat cheese daily. I eat pizza. And I say, cut out the dairy products, the lactic acid.
Creates phlegm.
And in 2 weeks, they come back and say, you know what? My sinus go away. So what? Without even giving them no products. Just eliminating the cause, the root cause. So what I'm saying is a lot of the physicians, because they didn't study nutrition in school, and, a lot of this information cannot be taught. It's common sense, a lot of it. And it's just ruling out things that offends persons. If you put you ever heard the phrase once bitten, twice shy?
Yep.
It's just sometimes it be the simplest things. It be simplicity. But because of this frustration, it causes you to, like you said, to negate or to make a decision that is drastic. Because a client that is complaining is a client that is really frustrate you.
Frustrated, yeah.
And so that's where we are today, where persons are coming to us with severe issues, with their legs rotting off, with all kind of different issues, cancer, in the last stages of cancer, and we give them nutrition, and in a twinkling of an eye, almost in minutes, seconds.
Because like you say, and when you first came about, you deal with things. You have to deal it from a cellular level.
Exactly.
And if something is going all the wrong way, there's got to be something that could turn it back.
That's
that
correct.
could cause things to go the opposite direction. And like you say, start from the basics.
That's correct.
From the very beginning.
That's correct. That's correct. You see, and
back to the earth.
I had some deli this morning from a client. Bring me some supper deli, man, for breakfast.
I hardly get to see them. We know certain people that have trees. And we grew up in Nassau with a dilly tree in the back of the yard, and
that was so wonderful.
You hardly see them in Freeport.
But watch this now, the sugar that's in Deli, the pancreas recognize that will not spike your sugar.
Because it's a natural.
It's not. The body recognizes that. God made that. You see what I'm saying? You need sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You don't let nobody dupe you.
Mm-hmm.
You without sugar you can't survive. You get energy.
Yep.
And so God made fruits to give us sugar, to give us energy. That's why we suggest that you eat fruits in the morning. That should be your breakfast fruits to give you the energy for the day. You need oils. The body need oils to have to break and to digest food down. Oils is found in nuts. and seeds.
Yep.
You need bromides, salt,
Mm-hmm.
salt, psyllium. You find salt where? You find salt in the ocean, right?
In the water, yeah.
And guess what? The seaweed, the sea vegetables, the kelp, the nori wrap that you have today.
Excuse me? So again, we have nori wraps today?
Awesome.
Oh, and one of those better be for me today.
Of course.
Yes. So my point is, God provided all of these wonderful natural things that give us all the essential minerals that we need. We need salt. Now they would say, "Oh, I should need salt. I have hypertension." Listen to me. When you sweat and taste it, it's salt. Your tears is salt. Your blood is salt.
Mm-hmm.
Salt is assimilated through the body through minerals. Minerals is assimilated through salt. Sorry, and salt is a conductor of electricity. But the salt they're referring to that is bad is table salt that is added iodine. And what they actually do, they add sand.
Right.
They take the sand and they heat it up and they crush it up with glass because they turn it into silica glass and they add that into the salt. But when you consume salt that is, I'll say processed, when you consume that, it causes internal bleeding. It scratches the arteries. And so what the body does, the body secretes cholesterol, the arteries. And as your arteries becomes loaded with cholesterol that's become hardened, it's called plaque. And that builds up and that leads to atherosclerosis, obstruction of blood flow to the heart and to the brain, which leads to stroke or heart attack.
And that's what so
but
many people
salt
are
is not
suffering
causing
from now.
that. Salt is not causing that. The artificial salt, that dead salt. If you put that salt that comes processed under a electron microscope, it's dead. There's no movement. You know, everything that is living have a definite amount of electrons per atom.
What do you think about the sea salt that they sell now, which is such the big seller now?
Well, a lot of the sea
as the
salt is also sodium chloride. It's also the same salt that they package. That is not good. That's a process. The pond salt is good, or the salt that comes from the lake or from the island, that comes directly from the ocean, because the ocean have a natural pH of 8.3. Mm-hmm. So anything in the salt water is naturally high in alkaline, like plants. The sea vegetable, the Irish moss, Conjus cryptus, Fucus verticosus. We have the kelp, the nori, the hijiki, the wakame. All of these are natural sea vegetable that grows into the ocean. And then we have the most powerful one of all, the marine phytoplankton, that provide human beings with most of the oxygen we breathe. Isn't it ironic that the largest animal on the planet, the blue whale, consume the smallest thing on the planet? Plankton, which is invisible to the human eye. Is a micro algae. Sea moss is a macro algae. It's bulky. But the point I was making is that this salt that you consume, the sodium, is excellent for the body. This is what the body needs. In the Bible says we had the salt of the earth.
That's right.
You talk about the salt, right? So you need the salt. You cannot live without salt. But we are taught that salt will cause hypertension. But a lot of us, what we don't know. See, we have to be careful because the diagnosis for human beings is based on a German woman. A German woman. That's what the diagnosis and the prognosis is based upon. So what we have to be very careful when we do our research and when we find this information out, because we are measured.
When you said German woman, her research?
No, the medical institution, they base all diagnosis on a German test.
Okay.
That's based on a German.
That was done on a German
What
woman.
I mean by that, for instance, it is said that the normal pressure should be 120/80. Right. But that is not consistent with the biological makeup of the African race. Okay. Our pressure should be below that. If our pressure is 120/80, we're twice as sick. We sick as a German, and we sick as Africans. Oh, no, that is something. We should be below that. Our pressure should be way below.
See, and all of these things are not taken into consideration when we have knowledge in a textbook, or you have what has been learned as a medical professional.
When your pressure is 120/80 as an African, you're already sick. You're already sick. You see
these variations aren't considered.
But you just sick. You sick on their standard. But as a people, we are already sick because the food we're eating. Our pressure used to be way beyond that. When I checked my pressure, and they saw my range, they pulled me in the office and asked me, they said, I have a pressure for a newborn baby. Wow. And they wanted to know what I consuming. Mm-hmm. You know, my pressure normally be like 97, over 67, over 70. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And I feel good. I feel great. And I have a lady who had pressure for 40 years. She was taking medication for 40 years, and her pressure was,
Wow.
she couldn't get her pressure below 180 with medication, even doubling up the medication. And 3 months of taking the products and changing her lifestyle, eliminating her stress, her pressure was like 111
We have lost
over 70.
so many people, Jamal.
Yes.
With high blood, hypertension, hypertension. I mean, when I say people, it's like
It's a silent killer. A lot of people
yeah.
walking around and don't even know it.
You can't even say epidemic, like a pandemic.
Yes.
For the Bahamas,
Yes.
because so
Yes.
many people.
That was
And it's just, jeez, you.
but Shelley, I was watching the news the other day, and this lady was talking about how her grandson was murdered, and they shot him right in front of the yard. And she said, and I right here in my chair with my foot up because I have arthritis. And she said, and I said, oh wow, at least she only have arthritis. And then she continued talking, and she said, and you know I can't take much because I have hypertension, and then I have my sugar with my sugar, and I was like,
they're all related.
everybody is almost accepted. I mean, Minister Smith.
And the thing is, I guess, listening to people that counsel or whatever, and they said, yeah, and we start owning these child, my arthritis.
Yeah.
You don't own these things. And
Yes.
then, my child, my this, you know.
But me and him had a good discussion yesterday, you know, because Minister Smith, he was talking yesterday how we were speaking about, he was saying how people approach him and they will say, well, my grandparents smoke cigarette and drink rum and they live to be 90, they live to be 100. And I say, and so what? So what? Why?
That makes it all right? Or?
No, because just because you live to be 90 or 100 don't mean nothing to me. Because we used to live to be 290. You see what I'm saying?
You see the Bible.
But we so used to dying at age 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and having disease and dying with disease that when somebody lived to be 100, we call it a miracle.
Yeah.
That's true. It used to be normal.
Notice
100
how we
years.
have those people in the news.
Yeah,
They
that
live
was
to be 101.
That used to be normal though. That used to be a breeze.
200 and 300 years
Yeah,
old.
that's what I'm saying. So our mission should be let's give God more credit. He designed this body. And he didn't design it.
But we've been shortening our lifespan with what we consume.
Exactly.
All
Our
these
generation.
preservatives, additives, and
Yes.
more and more, and the more we go,
Yes.
the shorter lifespan. But
Yes.
you see, people are dying earlier and early. Say, boy, he die young.
We accept it. It's acceptable. It's like diabetes. It's accepted.
You have more junk in your food than ever before.
But Jelly, we are taught to live. We are taught to manage disease. There was a lady that when there's a disease I see that's becoming more rampant. MVP, right? Mitral valve prolapse. It's called an MVP.
What is it?
Mitral valve prolapse.
Wow.
They call it MVP. It's a heart condition where when the valve.
That most valuable.
But they say it's harmless, but it causes palpitation and it causes
heart.
and it causes a lot of persons have insomnia. They have issues with energy and stuff. But most persons who have that condition, they are given a booklet like diabetes, or they're given a booklet, and the booklet says how to live with MVP. And it teaches you how to live with it. It shows a little European girl riding a bicycle, and it shows rolling over in the park, and it shows how to live comfortably,
With this.
So you're gonna, and literally says
this is now your little park.
I saw the book, and it says in the beginning, it says you will have this for the rest of your life. So learn to live with it, and we will help you through it. Now the person who wrote that book making money.
Thank you.
So it's like this is a whole new ministry.
That's given out as a part of you.
Yes.
You're accepting that you have this condition.
And the same thing is with
this
disease.
book goes with it for you
Yes.
to learn how to.
The same thing is with diabetes.
Manual.
But think about it. The same thing is with diabetes. You see, when your two legs are rotting off, they will sit you and they will say, "Well, man, you're gonna lose a leg, but you have these prosthetic legs." But they ain't free. So who's making money off these prosthetic legs? The surgery is not free. My cousin died. My cousin died with both of her legs off.
My grandfather
from her knees, right? But she had diabetes for almost 25 years, taking medication verbatim, doing checkups verbatim, and she came. My mom, she said, man, she had good insurance, and they charge her $5,000 a toe to cut the toe off. I said, man, you might as well come to me with my pliers. I could have used my pliers and cut you. I throw some salt and squeeze some lime on your foot, or something like that. or some bleach or something. But
yeah, bleach is our new word because that is.
And I'm not making fun of her. I'm just showing you a scenario that if you follow the authority position and the instructions verbatim, if you following the instructions, 20 years later, you should not be in a worse position. My listeners, please don't hate me as a messenger. Listen to what the message I'm saying to you.
But do you know what I've heard too? And I'm very close to the situation too.
Yes.
That after you have, this is what the word is. After you have one toe off, okay, then it's 2 and 3. Okay, they have to take 3 off. Okay, so after that, it's a downhill thing, and they speak this.
Yeah.
They said, then you have the leg off, and okay, it's below the knee, cut here. And what do they say? Okay, so usually if the person doesn't take care of themselves, they deteriorate, and they usually end up.
And you heard this?
This is like a story, and this is what usually happens. They say.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you really have to be good.
So this is what
really
usually happens. So it's oh my God.
I heard this from one medical professional. I said, so you really have to, you have to really watch out, because usually then, when there's one leg off, then
yes,
you don't take
the other one comes up.
One too.
Wow.
Because the cause is not being addressed.
What's normally going to happen. Exactly.
The cause is not being
and
addressed.
So we've been living with this for
yes.
years. My grandfather died legless.
Yes.
Too.
Now, I have a problem with that.
Diabetes, I said, boy.
But Shelley, it's so easy. People come to us, and Minister Smith can tell you, people come to us in then literally 4 to 5 hours, their pain goes away. Their legs scab up. I mean, you saw something yesterday. That
was you have to have a strong stomach, or we might think if you were to see this, it would be too graphic. But I'm glad you let me see it for sure, because people need to see things. I guess not like the doubting Thomas, said. For those people that have not seen but yet believe, but you can see this. Jamal has documented this.
Yeah, we documented
has videotaped this lady she's had diabetes for how long? 30 years?
Yeah.
And she's been suffering from this disease. And so now, at the point now, her legs almost, I guess, are skinless. Yeah. The one that's infected with this disease. And I'm telling you what I saw there. And that they said it stinks so much that they tell her when they come to dress her this leg to bring your bleach. And they started putting bleach. Don't you know that you're killing off cells? You're killing off things. Bleach kills. And so this is what we talked about earlier, when you no longer depend on what the basic things that you've learned in anatomy.
But the bleach is being put there not to heal her.
To keep the scent down.
For the odor.
So and this is a medical professional
wrapping
it with Pampers. So this is how bad it's gotten. And so this woman, it's almost like it's a hopeless situation.
A story. Rita's telling a story.
She's on there talking about it.
It's a story of a human being.
And you can go into Newlife, and Jamal, you will let folks see that video.
It's a human being, man.
At least this is documented. People, if you're hearing us out there.
But she's gonna come. I spoke to this morning. She's.
But you have started her on products that you have there. Newlife.
She couldn't sleep in 10 years.
That's right. For 10 years, this woman hasn't slept.
Yes, she said pain.
A peaceful night's
rest. Oh my God, man, this is the pain. Oh Lord.
Well, if I didn't see that yesterday too,
and you almost broke down. You and Avery.
Whoa. That was something. So you need to go into Newlife and talk to Jamal about that. Let him see that.
No, she's gonna tell a story.
She wants,
because I could be telling Miss Truth.
You started working with her, and the woman has already began to have a scab healing on that. You're gonna be showing that too. Well, but also we got in studio too. We have your chef from Newlife, because right there in Newlife, which is right downtown, very accessible, next door to Esquire Men's Store.
This is the prevention.
It's a restaurant, and you've got in there serving up the foods like they service what they say we service what we sell, but they are serving up foods that for an alkaline diet too, and those types of foods that are all natural, that are minus some of these things that we consume every day that are killing us daily. So we've got your chef. Introduce yourself there.
Sure. Good morning, Grand Bahama. My name is Chef Julio Hall. Many persons in the Bahamas will know me as the Bahamian Vegan. I'm based out of Nassau, and I've been a vegan plant-based chef for the last 2 years.
Wonderful.
And so my focus is on individuals that have dietary needs and want to live a plant-based lifestyle / a vegan lifestyle. I try to not say vegan too much, because
Yeah.
when you hear the word vegan, people have a misconception
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. So I always try to use plant-based to make it a little more easygoing.
More acceptable for
But that's what I do, and got the opportunity to come over to Grand Bahama to work with the Moncurs to enhance what's already a great product and a great service to make it even a lot more better, and to give the Grand Bahamians an opportunity to live a healthier lifestyle. You know, we had a conversation this morning, and that's one of the reasons why I came on the radio this morning, because the average Bahamian does not understand food costs.
Yep.
And that's the challenge. Because,
and you know, too, we consume what's handed to us.
Exactly, yeah.
And what we think tastes good.
Exactly.
And change doesn't come easy anywhere in
not.
any shape,
No.
way, shape or form. People hate
especially though in our, I think it's in our culture though, because what happens is we go back and we say, okay, well, it's because of our culture, or because of my grandparents cook this way, or because, you know, in the Bahamas all we know about is peas and rice and macaroni. It's not about that. What's
have the worst
happening
guy in the
is,
world.
but the thing is, we as a chef, I don't even think we as Bahamians have identified true Bahamian food, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because you
What
can
they
find
say is
peas
our
and rice, you
culture.
can find macaroni anywhere.
Thank
There
you.
is not really a subculture. So until we get that fixed, that's another story. But, you know, in the meantime, we're here trying to fix. We're here trying to fix persons with natural food, natural vegetation that you can find anywhere. As simple as shepherd's needle. It was so bad. I never knew what shepherd's needle was for the last 2 years until I got to Newlife. And every time I go somewhere now, I always see it. That should just tell you that's how much is available, and it's out there. But because we have things growing right there, we don't know about it. Same with fever grass. All these medicinal plants and all these bush
All around
medicines,
us.
it's all around. And the beauty of it all, though, for me personally, is that I've been introducing that to the persons in the U.S. or to the global market, because they don't know about it.
You see what they're paying for conch shells and stuff that we had around us all this time.
Exactly.
And shipping them out to Japan or China or wherever they're going, and paying that for. And we got as Bahamians, just like they say, you know, familiarity, like the prophet not being accepted in his own country. These kinds of things, and we've been given so much.
We
Yet
have.
we say,
We
we're
have.
seeking
We
to see what
have.
our resources are here. We can't.
We have so much resources. So
Everything.
much. And then what I think too with that is, I just, you know, I think even as individuals, they need to take the initiative. Because let's just say the average household in the Bahamas has a small garden in their yard. Imagine what they can maintain at home in terms of food products, even if it's just greens.
Let me tell you something. These wheels are just
simple.
beginning to turn now in the Bahamas, and people.
Yes.
That is so true.
Everybody
I
wants a
agree.
little vegetable
I
garden
agree.
in the backyard
I agree.
now.
I totally agree.
I make my greens now, and I don't buy anything out of the store. We're
Use
growing
everything out from
everything that
whatever
I
yard,
put
right?
in that drink in the morning.
Yep.
We're growing the kale. We're growing the oregano. We're growing moringa. I even put in
Yes,
there.
yes,
We
yes,
are
yes.
growing the mustard greens. We are growing everything now. And if I could do it, we could do it. And it's easy.
Yeah.
Easier than you thought, because I
Of
said,
course.
God, I don't have no greens. I'm growing what? You know? I know, see my friend here. Jump in here. Because this, say it again. Oh, gosh, is it that time already? We have been told issues of the day. It's time for issues of the day. And we've got to go to that. But you, a quick
All right.
comment.
I'm Jonathan Smith. Just recently got ordained as Minister Smith. And
All
like
right.
Mr. Moncur have said about these innocent victims, I have to say that being cases of, to me, it's pretty much a human crime, the way how they are treated. And they are properly documented, and it will be shown on ZNS. Of course, you cannot show the actual
Because it's a little graphic.
right, the graphic to it. Of course, that can be shown, but you will hear as we speak and communicate with her and what she have said on her own mouth. Not that just
Right.
that Mr. Moncur is saying it, or I
She
may
will
be
tell
saying
her
it.
story.
She will be telling her story. So stay tuned for that for Justice TV.
Okay. Well, so folks, I'm telling you, there's so much I could talk about this all day, but we've got to go over to issues of the day that comes. That's probably about to start like right now. Let's see, Avery frantically making motions to me. So we're going to go there, but there's so much that we need to share with people. I'm just running behind Jamal to have that information evening real soon.
That's coming soon.
Because we need
we're gonna
this.
expose.
People perish for lack of knowledge.
We're gonna talk about this HIV
knowledge
thing.
night.
There's nobody talking about that.
Yes.
Listen, you people. There's been healings, like even from the person you've studied under with Dr. Sabi from AIDS, and he's passed this information on to you.
Yes, that's a lot of information. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation.
That's right.
So you have to clear the fog.
Just like even that album, I think of Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
True.
But hey, people, if you're just joining us, we've been talking with Jamal Moncur, herbalist, and from Newlife, right downtown here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, also in Nassau. And we've been talking with his fantastic chef, and we've been talking also with Minister Smith, right? And so people. Of Jess's TV, and people, let me tell you, we've got so much we need to talk about, but we'll turn you on now to issues of the day, which should be in process. Well, Love 97, and it's the midday cruising show that you tuned into. And we've got the best of the hits and oldies for you on this station. And right now, I mean, we've been having interesting conversations all day. And we're about to even top it off with the icing on the cake today. Also, and we're talking about healing. You know, we have so many people. We have a large community within the community here in Grand Bahama of people that are ailing with non-communicable diseases and that are ailing from all different types of sicknesses, disease. And Dr. Jamal from Newlife is here, one of my favorite interviewees, people that we can talk about, because this is something that people are yearning, longing for, have been waiting for a long time, some kind of remedy for all of the ailments and things that we have been plagued with here in our communities here in the Bahamas. Dr. Jamal, good afternoon. How are you doing? And Johnny is also here too, from Jess's TV.
I'm great. Shelley's so kind. She afforded me the doctor title.
Well, but hey, I always call you doctor.
I know, but I'm an herbalist lady. I don't want to get it the wrong way, but that's all well and good. We definitely blessed. You asked me how I've been. Yeah. I've been blessed, but I'm also sad. I'm sad because people are suffering. Yep. And it's no secret that people are suffering. And the reason why I said that is, if you recall, a couple of days ago on the ZNS report, the national news, the Minister of Health and some persons involved in a survey indicated that if you're between the age of 13 to 64 and you go into PMH or into a hospital institution, you more likely to come out in the box or in the fridge. So what are we saying? And even the Minister of Health, he said, we're in trouble if that's true. Yeah. It is true. And he said, man, we're really in trouble. We need to do more health-wise. And so it's no secret now that nutrition have to be at the center, the core of the discussion with regards to healing and nutrition. Now, I'm blessed because God has allowed me to be sitting in a seat where I'm witnessing first-hand healing. Yeah. But this morning, somebody died. They came to the office and said, did you know so-and-so died? And yesterday, somebody died. Wow. And this morning, right before I came here, right before I came here, a couple of months ago, somebody just fell out. We had to pull up a chair, and a nurse was there, and she just fell out. And she'd been taking medication for almost all her life for diabetes. There is a demon rampant and raving all through this country by the name of diabetes mellitus. That's right. It's a demon. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. And there's another one by the name of hypertension. And they are wreaking havoc. But then there's a super demon, Satan himself, in the form of cancer, that is wreaking havoc. But if we were to analyze the cause and we were to put villain titles to these causes, we'll see the meat monster, the dairy goon, the starch creature, and the mucus destroyer. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. The sugar demon. These are the things that is the cause of all the different disease that's causing all the plight. Putting us in a state of stupor. We are losing family members. We're talking about murder.
And it goes from generation to generation.
It's 40 years now, so it's a generation now. It's been lost.
Because the way we cook, the way we eat,
the mortality
our lifestyle, right.
Oh my God, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
It's the root of the problem.
There's hope. Yep. And guess where the hope is? The hope has always been there. If you look at the Bible, Psalms 103 and 3. Let's read that. Let's read that. Those of you listening to me now, let's read that. Psalms 103. It says, blessed. Say, bless the name of the Lord. Call upon his name. He will take away all of your iniquities, and he will take away all of your disease. Now, do we believe this statement? Because if you listen to the doctor, they will tell you, the doctor will tell you, God is right. He will take away all of your disease with the exception. The doctor will say this, with the exception of cancer, with the exception of diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, HIV, AIDS, you name it. They will say there's no cure for no disease, because name me one disease that the doctor cure, that the medical institution cure. I can't really blame the doctor, because the doctor is a part of a system. The doctors don't make pharmaceuticals.
Exactly. That's
afforded to him to give in his practice. So I'm not casting this person on negative things on the doctors. What I'm saying to you today is that the doctors is part of a system called the pharmaceutical or pharmacology.
And they do as they are taught.
And the Bible teaches us that the word pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakeia, which means sorcery, witchcraft, bewilderment, enchantment, murder. I didn't say that. So the Bible said that. So now, when the doctor tells you have 2 months to live, and there's no cure for this or X, Y, Z, there's no cure for this, will you believe the doctor over God when he said, I will take away all of your disease?
Whose report will
Who report you believe? Because if God is saying, I will take away
he
all.
Says all.
But the doctor said, hold up. He made a mistake. There's no cure for cancer. There's no cure. We cured a lady right here. When I say we, I mean
AIDS, cancer,
she was introduced to Newlife. We interjected into her life, and we introduced her to these herbs. God is the healer. I'm only the messenger. So when I say we cured a lady, I don't mean I want the credit. I mean we showed her the way. Now, 1 week, right here in Freeport, Bahama, breast cancer. 1 week. You see what I'm saying?
And we had so many cases.
So many cases. Just this morning, a gentleman told me that his wife, pregnant, is diagnosed with breast cancer. He's scared because they want to give her chemo and radiation.
Wow.
Just this morning. So I don't have the luxury of worrying about what people say, the naysayers, the doubtful Toms. I don't have that luxury because I'm in a seat. That's why when you ask me how I've been, I've told you I've been blessed and I've been stressed. You know what I'm saying? Because God has allowed me to sit in the seat where I've seen healing. When that lady came to me a week ago and told me that her leg is rotting off, when she took the Band-Aid off, I saw her bone. And she said for 13 years she was in pain. For 13 years she was on medication. They even told her, the doctor told her that it was witchcraft. When she told me that last week Friday's going to make a week, I said to that lady, I said, Miss, when you get healed, I don't say if you get healed, I say when you get healed, will you be so kind as to go on a national platform and to testify, not for the gratification of Jamal Moncur or Newlife, not for the gratification of you, but for that person that is suffering with the same ailment that you are. Because this lady, she said on the line, there's hundreds of people on the line with their foot about to get cut off, with screaming and pain and agony.
Let me tell you, you have never seen so many amputees.
There's money in
as
that.
here.
Yes.
In the Bahamas.
Yes, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy.
I know firsthand.
Yes. Well, Jonathan Smith used to be the biggest skeptic of Newlife. The biggest skeptic. And I could say that unemphatically. I could come on here and I could say that this man was the biggest skeptic. Now, if you want to get slapped, you bad mouth Newlife in front of him. No, he was filming a lady for me that was blind.
Okay.
She was blind and now she could see. Her vision, her pastor brought her inside of Newlife and she could see. And he said to me, wow, there's somebody very close to me that I know that is putting pharmaceutical eye drops in their eyes. God has charged me if I allow this to go on, because I'm about to film a lady that was blind. Now she's seeing, and this woman putting this stuff in her eye. She said, no, I can't let this go on. This have to be, and it's not just one, it's many, many cases. So it comes to a point where when he putting together, because we have a paradigm where, a paradox, where we stuck, and we trying to say, what testimony should I use? And the testimony is so profound that we can only put a couple in each show. We have enough testimonies to last us about at the end of the year.
Right.
And I'm not even estimating. I'm not even exaggerating. But when he tried to decide which testimony to put in the show, I heard this man. I live to hear this man say to me, boy Jamal, I have a testimony powerful on this lady. I have a testimony more powerful than this one. I said, Johnny, you hear what you're saying to me? You telling me that you have a testimony that is powerful, more powerful than somebody that was blind for over 5 years? The last person that cured blindness was Jesus. I'm not claiming to be Jesus, but I'm just showing you that we are so used to sickness and so used to the doctor saying there's no cure, that when healing is there, according to the Bible, the herbs is for healing. When Jesus healed the blind man, he didn't poof and do a magic wand. He spat in the ground, mixed a concoction of herb. Even when Jesus said, where's the Bahama Gideon? He used herbs. We use the Bahama Gideon. There are herbs there that are clay that are medicinal properties that he put in that man's eye, and he used herbs. You see what I'm saying? So when this man tell me that he have a testimony more powerful than somebody that was blind, someone who used to be a skeptic now telling me, Mr. Moncur, I have a testimony more. Listen, Johnny, you are not talking about somebody who bucked their toe, you know. You're not talking about somebody who had the flu. You're talking about someone who's blind. So how could you have something more powerful? And he doing it. He's so used to seeing the healing, Charlie, that when somebody vision is restored, he's like, oh, that's a piece of cake. That's easy. Yeah. But hold up now. You telling me restoring the vision is easy? So it hit me, even though I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
When I hear him say, oh, I have some more. Oh, that's easy. Blind is easy. Restoring the vision is easy.
He's been witnessing it like you all the time.
Yeah. Because I think, what was your first story of that? The blind. Because you saw a couple of cases of person vision restored.
Well, one of my first one is when I saw elder gentleman walk in the store with a cane stick, a lady in the front, a lady in the back. And I saw him when did the consultation. At the time, I didn't know what was really going on, but I see him went back and spoke with you, Mr. Moncur, and all I know is within a week time, he has no cane stick, walking in by himself, and you ask him the question, you know, how you got it? He said he walked from home to get more products.
Yes.
So I'm like,
One week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was totally amazing to me. And like you said, it is true that there's someone that was close to me taking some medication for the eye, and it really hit me. I say, wow. I said, wait a minute. There's no way God would charge me. I'm here.
If you allow this to go on,
I'm going to make a recording on someone who just get cured from blindness, and I'm here watching a loved one of mine. They're suffering year after year from medication that's not doing nothing. Nothing. And what is so amazing that when I went and I got the product, and I went to the person, I told them about it, they was very much not too interested at first. So I asked them, I said, how long you had this problem? They said, yes. I said, okay, when you was taking medication, have it done anything for you? No. I said, so you see me making recording, you see people being able to gain their sight, so why not try it? So they tried it. And they told me that within one night or one day, they noticed that the mucus started coming out their eye.
Wow.
And they noticed that the cataract started to break down. I say, wow. So she said, not from now on, they're going to continue taking the eye product.
So it was a cataract?
Right. It's some cataract. She was saying that it was breaking down also from my eye.
Wow. Okay. That's wonderful. But I'm telling you, this is so amazing. And these are one thing with the products there at Newlife. These are all natural products. Just the way that these have been made. Everything's been organically done. There are no preservatives and additives and all of these other stuff. Like I put quote unquote stuff that you see put in with products. You will know the shelf life of something. There's something. I mean, I'll call him. Well, Jamal. You have items and products in the store, Newlife, that are for a whole lot of different ailments. We're talking about the eyesight. Like what would a person, if you wanted to give them to increase the eyesight, or to do what product did you recommend?
But before we do that, I mean to Jack a second here. Ladies and gentlemen listening to us right now, Shelly have a little, nausea feeling, and she don't look 100%. So we're going to prove something to you right now, live on radio. I'm going to give Shelly something to drink right now, and in about 15 to 30 seconds, she's going to tell you a story, live on radio.
we're going to see how powerful God is today in his herbs. He said the herbs is for healing. And Shelly's a very good friend, and she mean a lot to us here, since we came down to Newlife. To Freeport, and we became acquainted with her. And she's a wonderful lady. So definitely I can't be in here, and she telling me she don't feel 100%. So we're going to prove on national radio today the efficacy of the African bio-mineral balance, the science of healing.
So talking about the eyesight, what did you give this gentleman to take?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what's in it, but did
The name of that product?
well, they call it the eye wash. Also take a Draco,
Okay.
also to support it, but exactly what's in it, I'm not sure. But I know the elders, the older people, didn't have a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
All they knew is that they went to the bush and allowed God to have his way.
Wow.
Oh, and I can tell you folks that this thing is real. I mean, I've been recording testimonies after testimonies on my show, Justice TV, and it's amazing. And when y'all have a chance to see these testimonies, y'all will see for yourself. It's so amazing how people walking with high blood pressure, diabetes, can't see, pain. We talking about within a week or two, it's not there. I mean, I have some people crying on these testimonies. I mean, I myself even get weak and sad about it because it's so amazing that how God is still in the healing business. A lot of us don't realize the importance of understanding the word of God when he tell you that the herbs are the healing of the nation.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Shelly had some iron, and she has something called marine phytoplankton. There's a story about the plankton where a gentleman was sent home to die. He had a rare form of stomach cancer. This is like 1 in every 3 million or something like that. It was really rare. And they said there was no type of treatment that he can take. But his job, his profession was he fed the mammal marines, the whales, and the dolphin phytoplankton. And one day he had this bucket of plankton, and he was home, and he said, you know what, man, the doctor gave me a couple of weeks to live. And he was feeling really bad. So he would go and drag himself and feed the whales. He worked in this marine factory.
Mm-hmm.
And he would put his middle finger, index finger, and his ring finger, he would put it in the bucket. And he would eat a couple slabs of phytoplankton every day. And then on the third week, he realized that there was no pain in his body that he normally had in his stomach area and his back area. The pain had completely all but vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decided to do a checkup. And when he went to do his checkup, a scan, they found a white coating surrounding his stomach and his intestines. And they couldn't explain it. But they couldn't see no tumor in his stomach. It was completely vanished. Wow. His reasoning for eating that, he said, well, if the whale is so big and they're consuming this product, this must be good. Because the marine phytoplankton is a microalgae. The sea moss is macro, meaning it's bigger. The micro you can't see with your eyes, naked eyes. But because it's so much, you can actually just see a green coating. But a lot of people don't know that the marine phytoplankton provide human beings, us that breathe oxygen. It provides us with over 50%, 60, 70% of oxygen. Now, if the whale is the largest animal on earth, how is it that the whale consumes the smallest thing on earth?
Yeah.
He don't eat proteins. Because, we are taught that protein is what builds mass, and you need to eat protein in your diet. But if the whale, there's nothing on the planet bigger than the whale. How come the whale only eats marine phytoplankton?
Wow.
Now, the whale is the biggest, you may say that's the biggest thing in the ocean. Mm-hmm. And he swims in the water that is alkaline, because the ocean has a pH of 8.3. So he's living in an alkaline body of water. The same way how we breathe in alkalinity, the oxygen, which is a less denser form of oxygen, water. So we breathe in water. So the largest animal that's online is what? The elephant.
The elephant.
And the elephant don't eat meat. The elephant eats leaves. But once a year, the elephant goes into a cave and he uses tusk. And he scrapes the walls of the cave for mineral salt.
And algae and what?
No, salt.
Salt.
Now, he risks his life because he goes 200-300 feet into the ground. Into the dark, pitch black cave.
Wow.
He can't see his way in, neither out. He have to feel his way out. And he goes there once a year just to scrape this rare mineral from the roof of this cave, just to get the mineral that his body need. How does this elephant understand that he need this mineral a certain time of the year in order for survive, for sustainability?
An instinctive behavior.
He never went to school to study what type of mineral. He never went to school to find out how much he should take, and he never went to school to find out where to go to find it. It's innate, it is instinctively inside of him, and that is why Newlife is always talking about the reconnection, re-establishing to that link that we once knew. Nothing that Jamal Moncur says is new.
Right.
The information, I'm removing the amnesia state, and I'm reminding you of that which you once knew. You see, growing up as a little girl, Shelly, you didn't eat powdered eggs for breakfast.
No.
You see what I'm saying? And your grandparents didn't eat powdered eggs. They had the chicken that laid the egg.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with the bush medicine. And, a teacher was telling me this morning that one of her friends who was another teacher was saying that she hold up an apron and asked the students, what's this? And no one in the class was able to tell her. She said, your mom don't use this in the kitchen. And they couldn't tell her the name of it. They don't know what an apron is.
Wow.
And just even speaking about eggs, the difference between eggs and organic eggs too. I thought about saying, you thought all eggs, okay. The shelf life, we got some organic eggs from the guy that has a lot of chickens, and he says, okay, use these within 2 weeks because, these are
exactly.
Right.
They're like a hutch if you put them in one place.
Exactly. Or they will go bad or whatever the case. So that will tell you too, to prolong the shelf life of everything.
Yes.
There's something,
Yes.
some additive or preservative
Yes.
that has been put into the foods we eat, everything that we eat.
How you feel?
I feel much better.
That's what's
Jamal,
wrong,
in
so-
truth.
Yeah, I see it. That's why I asked you that.
Yeah, because, man, over the past few days, and it just was persisting. This,
Wow.
like, what do you call it, the swingy feeling in the head. And I thought that, maybe,
I see.
because
Ladies and gentlemen, you could hear the difference in her voice.
I was just with me all day.
Wow.
Almost like vertigo.
Yeah. Well,
Like you're sitting on your head,
I know. Yeah.
swaying
Yes,
a little over
yes.
that way.
Yes.
And that's not a nice feeling.
Well, I know
But
that.
I've just been moving
yes.
through the day over the
Yes.
past. I do feel a marked difference.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I see a glow on your face. That's why I asked.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's
Is
the
this
iron.
product in there? This is
Yes.
and the iron. The
Yes.
iron. I know
Yes.
that iron is good.
Yes, but that's not ferrous sulfate.
Is that
The
big-
oxide. That's see when people listen to us think about iron, they're thinking about Guinness, Vitamalt, SSS tonic, a Trihemex,
Or the
different
regular
iron that constipate you.
Yeah,
This is a plant-based iron, iron fluorine. That's what we give you.
that is awesome. And this that you were talking about, the
Yes,
marine phytoplankton
an iron formula.
and iron. This is awesome.
Yes, that's what nature of the offer. It's
Isn't
not the
that
best that
something?
nature of the offer. It's combination,
Yeah,
and that's how it works.
just the tip of the iceberg.
That's the tip of the iceberg. But Shelly, on a serious note,
Wow, Avery is
yeah.
a serious.
You see the difference, Avery? You see the difference or no? Yeah, it's yeah.
and
that's-
certainly feel a difference.
you ain't getting enough iron in your diet, and
Yeah, and I know I am.
yeah. And see, when you
Borderline
consume food like
anemic.
corn and soy,
Yep.
high fructose corn syrup and soy in your diet, these artificial substances, they leach iron of the system. They leach oxygen and put the body in a state of acidosis. And that is why the CMOS, it neutralizes acidity and afford you all those minerals that has been offended, depleted, or diminished
Yeah.
over the years. And that's what it does. We had a lady that fell out when I was coming here. She sat down. We put a chair and she sat down in front of the fridge with the healing tonic and the CMOS and the iron. And I said, trust me, it ain't a better place for you to
To fall
to
out.
fall. Yeah. And before I left, the lady was like, wow, I feel like I could jump over the roof.
This
You
is
know?
awesome. People,
Yeah.
if you haven't already visited Newlife,
Yeah.
which is right downtown beside Esquire Men's Store, very accessible right in the middle of town. If you haven't already visited there, you must go in. You can have a consultation, set up a consultation with Jamal Moncur, who's in there. He's an herbalist. He has studied under the best that there is.
Yes.
Dr. Sabi, I don't know whether you've ever heard of Dr. Sabi. He's in Honduras, but he's been in the Bahamas, in
Yes.
and out of the Bahamas. He's studied under him, and he has gained a wealth of
Yes.
knowledge. And let me tell you, it's a whole revolutionary way. It seems revolutionary to us because we're so used
Yes.
to what we've been handed
Yeah.
to us in products that we purchase out of the food store. And that's been, like I said, we've been killed all the day long by a lot of foods that for the consumer and for shelf life and for all different purposes have been injected with additives, preservatives, things, and so we eat a lot of things that are really plastic. We feed our children all of this stuff, and I am so tempted now to even delve deeper and deeper into this myself, and because it's something that truly interests me, but it's something that we all need to know.
Yes.
And we always say, I said just even in speaking with the Constitution Commission of Constitution, knowledge is power. And our people have been suppressed, oppressed, all depressed, depressed because of lack of
That's
knowledge.
true.
People perish for lack of
Yes,
knowledge.
yes.
And the more we know, the more
Yes.
we can participate
Yes.
in change,
Yes.
the more we can have a better quality of life.
Yes.
Health, wealth, everything.
And like I say, I'm stressed and I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I know I'm grateful to God for sure. Because my dad died almost 15 years ago from cancer. They cut his tongue out, and he practically died in my arms. I remember feeding my dad boiled fish juice through his throat because they cut a hole in his throat. And my dad was a musician and a teacher, orator. So if he couldn't talk, then he had no reason to live. I mean, he was depressed. They burned him, the radiation burned him black like charcoal. Look, like somebody took a blowtorch and burned his fingernail up.
Wow.
And so to see that happen to my dad, who brought me into this world, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
And
So-
I know another reason for your passion
Yes,
unto what you do.
yes,
And it's to see people
yes,
have that way.
Yes,
Like they said,
yes.
God always provides a way of escape.
yes. I travel that road.
That's
Yes.
it.
So I don't just speak to people from a standpoint where I don't understand. But I don't have cancer, so I can't say I understand what you're going through. But I've traveled that road with persons who suffer.
Yeah.
That and I don't think it get any worse. I don't think that the current health situation in the Bahamas is down spiraling, but I think we at rock bottom. I really think so.
And all you can all that comes to mind is too, like in scriptures to say, people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And we perish for lack of
knowledge.
of what to eat,
Yes.
what not to
We
eat.
need knowledge
and
night
what's
again.
We
Yes.
need a knowledge night again.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, that was just
Yes.
an eye opener.
We need a
That was
testimony
just the
night too.
beginning. We do.
Yeah, because I think what happened too, Shadi, because even when I come on the show, I'll notice that you'll see people a week or 3 weeks later, or they would not come down. You'll think like the shows we've been having, you'll see an influx of people, right? I mean, it happens in Nassau, but
Yeah.
I think what's been happening too as human beings. Sometimes things sound too good to be true.
They're apprehensive. There always will be that
Yes.
apprehension.
But that's why I put God in the
Initial.
equation.
Thank
You see,
you.
that God is the healer. See,
Yeah.
when somebody that you love had diabetes for 27 years, and there's somebody on the radio saying, "Oh, this is the way," you say, "No, man, it can't be because for 27
And
years,
all this
years,
time I've been suffering
exactly."
with this disease.
So I think that's
how come nobody
and it's
said
warranted.
anything?
It's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's a human.
apprehension is-
Exactly. It's good, and that is why Mr. Smith, he's talking off air,
Yeah.
that Mr. Jonathan Smith, and I think God is working through him because him, the owner and the founder of Justice TV, he been following me since I came to Freeport,
Okay.
and he could tell you his own story. But what I noticed was he came to me, and he said, "Mr. Moncur, I think you're making. I've been watching your shows on ZNS and the show on JCN and the show you've been doing," and he said, "I see a fundamental problem wrong with the show." He said, "You have amazing testimonies, but I think you guys are capturing it wrong because the show is coming off like an infomercial."
Yeah.
And people, how we feel about infomercials.
Right.
He said,
Right.
"Why don't you let the people tell their story?"
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so he followed me to Nassau. I invited him a day in my life to see what I go through in my life daily.
Okay.
And when he came back, he was astonished to see what I go through daily. And what he did was, he said, "Mr. Moncur, why don't watch this?" And I watched a film that he filmed in this lady room in Nassau, because she called me in the airport. We went straight to her home in Mount Pleasant. And Shelly, I was brought to tears when I saw what he filmed. It was unscripted. It was raw. It was to see this woman went from death to life in less than 2 weeks after suffering for 15 years, taking 15 medication, and the doctor wanted to amputate her legs. She couldn't see, and to see this woman testify, and the way he captured that, and so you're gonna see a change, a shift. I want to invite you guys to stay tuned and listen out for what Newlife have to offer, because we're gonna show the people telling their story.
Yeah.
The people. I'm gonna take a seat in the back, and I'm gonna be in the audience, and I'm gonna listen to the people saying these words. I once was blind.
Now I see.
Thank you very much.
That is so true what Mr. Moncur said, and I feel that these are real people, so they should be telling their real results. And when the people are able to talk for themselves and speak about their testimony, then the viewers out there will really understand what's going on. Like they say, a fisherman can't call a fish thing.
No.
But those who actually bought the fish can say what's going on.
And then more people gonna come out and testify. We had a lady, the last show we did with the lady testifying about how she was on medication for 15 years and it didn't work because she would take it and the sugar would still be in the 300. And she took the bilberry, the numbness went away from her extremities, and her vision was restored. Her sugar became below 100, 105, 110.
Yeah.
And she, when she testified, she was like, wow, how could this be possible? I've been taking these medications for so long. And it's almost like it's become numb. My system become numb to what's going on. You know what happened after that? My stepdad called me and he's like, there was a gentleman that worked with me over Atlantis and he was crippled. And now he's seeing now. I'm sorry, he's walking. And then there was somebody on dialysis that no longer required dialysis. So what's going to happen now? Persons that's afraid to come out and testify are going to come out and say, you know what? I drank the sea moss and this happened.
Yeah.
I drank the healing tonic and this happened. We had a Canadian lady already purchased a coffin for her mom.
Right.
Wow.
And she went and said a day after drinking 1.5 ounce of healing tonic, her mom was weeding the yard the next day.
Right.
I didn't say that.
Yes.
That's it, and
I didn't say that.
Speak up for
She
themselves.
said that.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
But
Matter of fact, I've seen so many testimony, so many healing going on. I may end up getting into ministry.
Yeah.
Yes, man, God is good.
let me tell you, God is good.
Yeah.
And he's a God who does not change. What he said then still goes and stands for the day. That's right, herbs are for healing.
Yes, the food is for
So
me.
it is always such a pleasure to talk to you guys, and we love to hear what is a good report.
Yes.
And everything about your store, your business, the new life, and the experiences that you share here are just good report.
Hope.
And this is hope.
We're going to give hope to the people.
And we
true.
need to hear more and more of this all the
Yes.
time. So people, even if you want to see the products, experience them, go on down to New Life. Also, you're going to have a program that's going to be coming on.
Yes, we'll announce.
television program,
I don't have the
isn't it?
exact time right now
Okay.
because we're working out. We're going to stretch it to an hour because
So-
we couldn't
Right.
get all the testimony in 30 minutes. So
Okay, so you're going to be, they must look out for the programming
yes,
times
yes,
Yes.
for when this New Life.
yes. So look out for that.
program
We
will be
probably
coming on.
we probably come back here and
And let them
announce,
know
or
when.
let you make the
Okay.
announcement for us.
Because this is stuff you got to see.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So some people
That's
like Thomas, you got to see it to believe it.
Yes.
Hey, come
Yes.
on, you've got to see it to believe it. We'll let you know about the times of when that program will come on. But thanks so much, Jamal Moncur.
But the location, a lot of people don't know.
Right downtown,
still, yeah.
right next door to Esquire Men's Store, right in the middle of town. So it's very accessible for a
Yes.
lot of people
Yes.
that are working up this way. And even if you're not,
Yes.
very accessible.
And we have the
right next
Facebook
door.
page and New Life,
New
Natural
Life.
Vegetation Self Food
Natural
Limited.
Food Be a
And that's
Medicine.
a Freeport Facebook page. And also we have a website, newlife1020.com. Or you could just call us at 352-5433.
That's right. And also the restaurant you've got to try.
Oh, yes.
The Alkaline.
Oh, yeah. We're doing some
Goods
stuff. You need to come by. We
that
have some
in
surprises.
I'm
Yes.
in love with the
Yes.
nori wrapping.
Yes. We have the coconut bread now, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That, and I've had your soup. I had two
Yes.
different soups already.
Yes,
This
yes,
and the
yeah.
cookies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Anyhow, we'll never shut up if left to us. But hey, people, it's Love 97. Keep your dials right. We have got them. We got the best of the hits and oldies right here, and we speak with Jamal Moncur from New Life, and Johnny is here with us from Jess's TV, Jonathan Smith. So, have a great day. Good to have you.
All right.